Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talking Wrestling TXN. Tonight, we got two sponsors for you guys. First off, I want to give a big shout out to the NRG, uh, the NRG Pro Wrestling School in New Bedford, and the RWA, the Renegade Rumble, going down Sunday afternoon, February 26th. That'll be at the at Our Lady of Rosary Church in Providence, Rhode Island. For all the ticket information for that show, please go on to rwaforever.com right now. Front row seats are sold out. Second row seating, reserve second row seating at $12 are still on sale. General admission is $10. And all you youngsters out there, if you are 14 years and under, you get to get into this show and you only have to pay $5. Oh, by the way, myself and Anthony Florio are going to be at that show, just to let you know. So, yes, there will be some Talking Wrestling TXN representation in the building. That's going down in about a couple of weeks. We are just awaiting one last member to see if he can tie up, and then you might get the whole crew. So we'll just let you guys know that. But until then, guys, let's start it off as we always do. Last night we had a big NXT event, as it was indeed NXT Vengeance Day. That actually went down from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, exclusively on the WWE Network and, of course, on Peacock in the United States. And, guys, let's just dive right in. So, first fight of the night we had was Wes Lee versus Donovan versus Dijak, and it was for the NXT North American Championship. And the winner of the bout in 17 minutes and 1 second, and still the NXT North American Champion was Wes Lee. Unbelievable opening match, and actually more better than expected. I had no idea this was going to come out the way that it did. Honestly, I really thought we were going to have new champions when a new champion when this came out, but Wes Lee retains. But there was a little bit of a brouhaha at the end as Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo showed up, kind of got involved at the end. That's why the rating dropped, in my opinion. But this was still a damn good match, an incredible battle. And I could even go as far to call it the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars is my official rating for this match. Unbelievable action. There was a lot of hope spots, Shakespearean drama all the way through. That's the one thing that we always talk about. And there was at least a couple of moments where I thought Dijak was going to win the belt, and I thought he deserved to win the belt. But Wes Lee successfully defends. Incredible match and a great way to jump off this show. Anthony Florio, it is yours. Wes Lee successfully defends the North American title.
MF, this bout was a lot of fun and definitely the right choice to start the show. The crowd was hyped, the superstars looked great, and the result was one of the least predictable of the night. Tony D'Angelo and Stax showed up to interfere, but Dijak took them out with a moonsault, and the distraction allowed Lee to take advantage and hit his finisher to score the win. The Death Valley driver Dijak hit on the floor looked absolutely brutal. Lee's German suplex was an impressive display of power. The reverse Rana was good, but looked a bit clunky. Dijak almost spiked his head on the mat when Lee reversed a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana. They showed a close-up of Dijak's broken finger. A lot of people probably cringed at that, yours truly included. So, 4.25 stars. I think 4.5 is a bit of a reach, but I think 4.25 is the appropriate rating for this match. Great way to start it off, no doubt about it. And who's next for Wes Lee? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But for right now, 4.25 stars. Michael Bullock, what a way to start off your brand's first true road event. since Stand and Deliver last year, and that Charlotte crowd, they were hyped for this match, and rightfully so. What a jump off.
Yeah, this was definitely a major jump off to Vengeance Day. I mean, this was much better than what I anticipated, but give credit to both of these men. They delivered. They gave us a good way to start off Vengeance Day, and definitely the biggest win for Wes Lee, because there was so many people that were going into this match that were thinking he's got no chance of defeating someone like Dijak, but somehow he pulled it off. And yeah, like you said, what's next for him? We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm with Fletch here. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I mean, a match like this, I mean, that was better than expected, I think is worthy of 4.5. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right. Next up, we did have was the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, as it was the challengers, Fallon Henley and Kiana James, alongside their stablemates and tag team partners Brooke Jansen and Josh Briggs. They went up against Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, the reigning champions, the winners of the bout, 9 minutes and 20 seconds, and new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Fallon Henley hooked up Kaden Carter, and then Kiana James, very astute, holding the legs down so that Kaden could not kick out. 1, 2, 3, crowning of new tag team champions. History was made in Charlotte. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
The old Bobby Heenan, Rick Rude ending, wouldn't you say, MF?
Yes, indeed.
WrestleMania 5? Huh. Yeah, so that's what the Brain did for Ravishing Rick, and that opened the door for Ravishing Rick to win the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship that night. I always think about that whenever I see a finish like that. But anyways, I'll give it a solid 3 for the effort. I mean, the story of this match was Fallon Henley and Kiana James having communication issues because they don't get along, but both women still wanted to win the titles. This bout had some fun spots, but it was also all over the place. It felt like they tried to pack a little too much into the time they had, so a few of the spots felt rushed. And then Henley ended up covering Carter close to the rope, so James held Carter's legs down to keep her pinned without Henley's knowledge. Kaden Carter taunting Briggs and Jensen was kind of funny, and then you had Briggs and Jensen. They had hilarious facial expressions during the match, and they're definitely going to have Henley get mad when she finds out James cheated for them. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, but very surprise outcome. None of us saw this happening. We thought that the fact that James and Henley don't get along, we thought that was gonna, lead to a win for Carter and Catanzaro and Chance, but no. New champions crowned, definitely the surprise of the night, no question about it. So solid 3 for that alone. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, surprise outcome here. We did not think that that Henley and James were going to win the titles, but yet here they are. Fallon Henley and Kiana James, the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And I'm very intrigued to see where this goes, especially starting Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this goes come Tuesday night, especially with how they won the titles, especially with Kiana James holding the legs where Fallon Henley did not see it. So I'm pretty sure when they show it, part of me is going to think Fallon Henley's going to be pissed off, and she's going to be like, you know what? Carter and Chance, they deserve a rematch. And Kiana James is probably going to be against it, and then I think this is where we're going to see the whole implosion happen here. So, but we'll wait and see. But a solid 3 here. I mean, it was a solid match. I mean, definitely could have been better, but they made good with what they had here. So, Yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say except Fletch. I'm interested to see what's going to happen come Tuesday night, especially if Fallon Henley finds out that Kiana James uh, cheated to help win them the titles.
Well, it seems like everything is cool right now because if you kind of remember it, because of the fact that Kiana really kind of put over Brooks Jansen, saying that this was his idea, the whole 9 yards, and they kind of was like, all right about it, but they're just great over the fact that they won the titles. I think right now, eventually it'll probably come out, but I think right now they're still living the limelight, living it up, knowing that they are the tag team champions of the world. I mean, Tuesday night will be very interesting to watch. You know that Caden Carter is going to demand a rematch almost right away because of what happened. But the thing is that look, um, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But at the end, I thought this was solid. So nothing more to say. Next up, we had was the 2 out of 3 falls match, the Intercontinental Rules singles battle, as it was Carmelo Hayes versus Apollo Crews. Winner of the bout in 23 minutes and 31 seconds in 2 straight falls. Carmelo Hayes, first fall, Carmelo won it. Second fall, Trick Williams tried to get involved. And then Dabba-Kato, yes, General Aziz, makes the save, but it led to Carmelo getting the second fall. And then after the match, Apollo and Dabba-Kato looked like, oh, it was all good, reuniting. Oh, no. Dabba-Kato goes on his own for his own business, beating up Apollo Crews and sending a message to the rest of the NXT roster. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours, my friend.
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe. I'll give this 4.5. I could give it a little bit of a higher rating, but obviously the Trick Williams. Trying to get involved in the second fall, I think took a little bit away from it, but all in all, I did enjoy this match. But then again, when you got someone like Carmelo Hayes and Apollo Crews in there, you expect something good out of this one. So I'll tell you what. Carmelo Hayes. Now everyone is seeing why Fletch is so high on this guy and why he believes he's a future NXT champion. So we'll wait and see how it all goes, especially with what's next for Carmelo Hayes. So there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, all I can say is the sky continues to get higher and higher for Carmelo Hayes.
First fall, 5-star classic. That was absolutely unbelievable wrestling, unbelievable action. Everything was perfect in that first fall. The second fall, yes, Michael Bullock, you're absolutely right. It did take a little bit away. And for that, the total score is 4.5 stars. It could have been a lot more better, but it was solid for what it was worth. But go out of your way to watch the first fall of that match because that fall was absolutely phenomenal. The best wrestling I've seen all year, and I mean it, best wrestling I've seen all year. Doesn't matter if it's from WWE, from New Japan, from AEW. NXT had the best wrestling. That first fall was absolutely a masterclass, and watch that again. So, you're right. When Dabba-Kato showed up, that was an awesome scene. But to see what he did after, not so happy about that. But it is what it is. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Like I said, first fall was a 5-star. Second fall, not so much. But I'm down with the 4.5 star rating that Michael Bullock gave.
And what was the total time of the fall?
23 minutes and 31 seconds.
Yeah, I would probably call this the fight of the night here. These two men are both gifted technicians and high flyers, so they started with a fast-paced exchange of holds and takedowns. This match had too much action to properly rate here, but what you need to know is that this will likely end up being the fight of the night for a lot of us. These guys are both at the top of their game, so that shouldn't surprise anyone. While there was no official stipulation, in my opinion, it felt like an unofficial number one contenders match. Whoever came away with the W would likely face the NXT champion at the next big show. And I'll tell you what, toward the end of the second fall, Dabba-Kato, Commander Aziz showed up to prevent Trick Williams from interfering, but that didn't stop Hayes from scoring the second straight fall to win the match 2-0. And then Kato got into the ring and looked like he would help Cruz up, but he ended up attacking his former ally and dropping him on a chair with a two-handed choke slam. And booking the match to go 2-0 was a very intentional decision to make Carmelo Hayes look good before he pursues the NXT title again. If WWE calls up Melo without Williams by his side, it will be a huge mistake. And a standing shooting star press will always be impressive. MF absolutely nailed it. If that first fall, if that had been a one fall match, this would have been if it would have been a 5-star, and it would have been our fight of the year, no doubt about that. But the 2 out of 3 was a little unnecessary, but other than that, yeah, 4.5 stars, no question about it. It is the fight of the night when it comes to this event. I was surprised that they gave Melo the 2 straight falls. I thought it would have went the distance. They usually do, but not in this case. So, and I told MF Friday night when we on Cerebral Smack Talk when we talked about this when we previewed the event. MF had doubts. MF thought Apollo Crews was going to find a way to win, but no. MF, I told you Carmelo Hayes was going to win this match. And I'm not surprised he won. I'm just surprised by the way he won. 2 straight falls. I did not expect that. I thought it was going to go the distance, but no. Melo wins it, 2 straight falls, and now he's locked in to be the next challenger for the big belt. So, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So, 4.5 stars, fight of the night. An early match of the year candidate, mainly because of that first fall alone. Definitely go out of your way to see it for those of you who have Peacock, and that's all there is to say there. So MF, I told you Melo was going to win. I'm surprised you had doubts.
Well, because of the fact that you know how with these type of matches, because they could have prolonged it, add another layer to it, and the thing is that Melo was getting so much on Apollo that sooner or later Apollo is going to get one back, you would think. So I thought this would have been the event, but it is what it is. So let's just go right into the next one, and here we go. It was it was a fatal 4-way for the NXT Tag Team titles. Yes, Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang versus Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince and Kit Williams, Chase University, and Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, and the reigning champions, the New Day. The winners of the bout, 16 minutes and 46 seconds, and new NXT Tag Team Champions. Gallus wins it all. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang winning the titles. I'm going to say this. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, absolutely just went wild on social media last night, praising 2 of their own, saying that Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, both former ICW World Heavyweight Champions, are now the NXT Tag Team Champions. I called it. I knew it. I felt it. I'm so damn happy that this happened. These guys were terrorizing NXT UK. If you didn't see that, go on to do the WWE Network, do the Peacock, or on YouTube. They got all the stuff how they were absolutely just terrorizing NXT UK. And now They are the team. They unseat the New Day. New Day coming back to the main roster, maybe, but the future looks so bright for them now. Mark Coffey, Wolfgang, tag champions again. This time, NXT USA tag team champions. This was a great matchup. Great ring psychology, great story was being told. There was a moment where I thought Chase University was going to win it all. There was a moment where I thought Chase University was going to win this. And it looked like they were going that way. But at the end, the right team won, the most logical team won, and the most sensible outcome. And they won it the only way you can do it, by pinning a champion. They finished off Xavier Woods, so it's a true championship win. There's no debate. There's no repercussions here. It's a 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star match. But more importantly, guys, history made in Charlotte. Anthony, it is yours. I wanted it. I was begging for it. And Shawn Michaels and the boys at NXT gives me the bone on this one. They give me the moment I wanted. ICW fully represented. Now they have the gold in NXT.
Yes, they do, MF. And you weren't the only one who called it. I called it too. I mean, I had Gallus winning the titles as well the other night. And all right, matches with 8 competitors are almost always going to be chaotic, but when it's 4 teams instead of 2, it's even harder to follow all the action. All 4 teams were clearly working hard to make this as fun as possible. While the match was hard to follow at times, it definitely had enough exciting moments to keep most fans entertained. Surprisingly, to some, not to me or MF, but to some, surprisingly, the New Day did not leave this match with their NXT title reign intact. Gallus was able to score the win to become the new tag team champions. This was a fun outing that most people will probably have to watch again to make sure they caught everything. New Day easily got the biggest pop during the official introductions. The superplex onto a pile of wrestlers at ringside looked great, and that's a spot that usually looks too contrived. I'm with MF on this. It's between 3.5 and 3 3/4 of a star. Big win for the Gallus boys. The Gallus NXT Tag Team Champions, much to the delight of good old MF Michael Fletcher, and to me as well, because I had them winning as well. So there isn't much more for me to say here. 3.5, 3 3/4. Michael Bullock, your brand has new tag team champions, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, the Gallus. Oh boy.
Yeah, nobody deserves this more than Gallus. I mean, basically, the biggest win for them. And yeah, I mean, all I can say is to that NXT roster, especially the tag team division. Yeah, if you think of challenging these guys, you're going to be in for a tough night, because you know how tough these guys are, and they proved it right here tonight, and or last night, I should say. And yeah, there was at times, I mean, I was thinking that it looked like Chase U was gonna find a way to win it, but no, the right team went over, and yeah, obviously with the New Day losing, I think it's more back to the main roster for the New Day. So 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star, a fantastic fatal 4-way. So there's really nothing more to say except let's move on, Fletch.
NXT Women's Title on the line triple threat match, as it was Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, Toxic Attraction, and the reigning champion Roxanne Perez, winner of the bout, 14 minutes and 42 seconds, and still the NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, Anthony Florio. She overcomes the odds and successfully defends the title.
3.5 stars for the effort here. All right. we need going into the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez was at a disadvantage because JC Jane and Gigi Dolan were still trying to work as a unit, despite the fact that only one woman could win in the end. For a long time, Toxic Attraction worked together against Roxy, but the former Roxy was able to find ways to use the numbers game against them to keep herself in the fight. And as soon as Jane tried to get a pin while Dolan was outside the ring, they began to argue. Dolan pulled her way into the way of a tope suicida from Roxanne and then began beating down the champion. And after putting Dolan through a table at ringside, Perez hit a code red from the turnbuckle on Jane, the Pop Rocks, to score the win and retain her title in an entertaining and energetic bout. Dolan and Jane making their entrance together was a nice detail to add. Jane hit a kick to Perez at one point that looked a little stiff, but the champ recovered right away. Dolan has some of the best facial expressions, and you always know exactly how she's feeling. Solid 3.5 stars. Not much more for me to say here. Michael Bullock, no surprise with the outcome. We knew Roxy was going to retain, but what does this mean for the future of Toxic Attraction going forward after this?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that's going to be people want to know is what does the future hold for Toxic Attraction now that they failed to win the NXT Women's title. They thought they had everything in their plan, but obviously, let's just say Gigi Dolan basically put the kibosh on all that and try to win it for herself. Especially, I mean, let's just say that Gigi Dolan is crazier than a pet coon. Especially with what we saw last night. So, but yeah, Roxanne Perez overcame the odds. I mean, you knew she was gonna retain the title. I mean, it's too soon to take it off of her. So now what's gonna happen with Toxic Attraction? Who's gonna be next in line to challenge Roxanne Perez? I think my money is gonna be on Zoe Stark. I think she's gonna be the one to be next in line to challenge Roxanne Perez. So we'll wait and see on that. So there's really nothing more to say. 3.5 stars. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3.5. I totally agree with it. I think you guys have talked about everything we needed to talk about. Main event of the evening for the NXT title inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel tempered cage. It was the champion, Braun Breaker, going up against the challenger, Grayson Waller, the winner of the bout in 14 minutes and 25 seconds. And the NXT champion is Braun Breaker. But after the match was over, then we had the one and only Carmelo Hayes coming out. And guys, it has been confirmed and official at Stand and Deliver WrestleMania weekend from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. The day of night one of WrestleMania, it will be Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. So, with that said, Michael Bullock, you lead off.
I'll give this about maybe another 3.5 stars. I mean, it definitely could have been much better, but all in all, I mean, the match was fine for what it was, and yeah, I mean, after the match, Carmelo Hayes comes out and stares down the champion, and yeah, Breaker and Hayes at Stand and Deliver as part of WrestleMania weekend. That's gonna be a show stealer right there. And you know what? I'm going to go on the record of saying this. We don't have to wait until we preview this. I'm going to say it right now. I don't care what anybody says. Fletch, I know you're going to love this. Carmelo Hayes is going to be the one to end the reign of Braun Breaker and is going to be your NXT champion. So you could put me down for that. So 3.5 stars. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. Solid main event. Good battle. Good matchup. Could have gone in a number of different ways, but the only logical explanation, the only logical ending was that that man, Braun Breaker, keeping the NXT Championship. But we'll see. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
1425, is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
That's what I thought. Okay, just wanted to be sure. All right. About another 3.5 or so stars for this as well. I'll tell you what. It was a solid effort from both men, but they felt slightly hampered by the stipulation, if I'm going to be honest with you. And who was out? Who was the first one out there after the match was over? It was Carmelo Hayes. He came out on the stage to end the show, indicating that he intends to be the next challenger for the NXT Championship, and rightfully so. They're running out of ideas for things for Braun Breaker to break on his way to the ring. This time he stepped through a banner of Waller that was already cut down the middle. WWE got rid of the rule where somebody can escape the cage to win for this match. So every time Waller tried to climb, the Waller was only in an attempt to get away from Breaker. Waller hit a cool move that was like a combination of kill switch and blockbuster. And tying Breaker up in the ropes to deliver a spear was a great move by Waller. About another 3.5 or so for this. So no surprise with the outcome. We knew Breaker was going to win. But I don't see anything officially announced for this yet. I checked the Wikipedia for this, and I don't see that match listed as of yet. But you know it's going to be official. You know it's going to be the main event. So
yeah.
So and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when they make that match official, there's no doubt about it. Michael Bullock is absolutely right, and I know MF's going to concur on this as well. This is where Braun Breaker's Hulk smash run is going to come to an end. So that's just how I feel about it. It'll be right around a year mark for that. It'll be at 362 days. That's where the reign will end. And so that's really all there was to say for me on this. 3.5 stars. Braun, enjoy it now, because come stand and deliver at the Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena, or whatever you want to call it. Carmelo Hayes, the A champ, will literally be the A champ. Overall review time, MF.
Yeah, 8.5 out of 10. I thought this was a really good show. The fans were really into it. There was a couple of matches that weren't really great, but they started us off with a jumper. I mean, that was a jump off and a half. That was really exciting. The second match was good, not great. Third match was another banger. Like I said, the first fall itself pretty much sold the entire fight for me. And then once you got into the second half of the show, it was good, but it wasn't like overly spectacular. Solid matches, very good matches to end it. So for me, yes, it was at the end of this night. I thought it was an 8.5 out of 10. So Anthony, it's yours.
8 to 8.5 for me. Carmelo Hayes, Apollo Crews, that was the fight of the night. Wesley and Dijak, second best fight of the night. The 4-way for the tag titles, that was the third best fight. Coming in at 4, I would say the women's triple threat. Main event comes in 5th, and by default, the worst fight of the night was the women's tag team title match, although there was nothing remotely bad about it. 8 to 8.5, I believe that is the correct rating for this NXT Vengeance Day from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. So not much, and definitely we definitely got some foreshadowing. One huge source of foreshadowing for Stand and Deliver. And there's no question about it. We know what the main event's going to be. It will be Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. And the A champ will walk out the A champ. So no doubt about that one. So, and that's going to be an amazing weekend. I mean, it's going to be so huge. I can't wait. So 8.5, Mr. NXT, it's only fitting you take this home.
Yeah, 8.5, no doubt about it. I mean, this Vengeance Day really delivered here, and yeah, I mean, obviously, come Tuesday night, I hate to say it, I think it's going to be a back to reality edition of NXT, but you never know. But Stand and Deliver is definitely starting to take into shape. Obviously, we all think it's going to end up being Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship, and where I believe Hayes is going to end the reign of Breaker and become the new champ. So wait and see how more of this develops as we now start the road to Stand and Deliver. So there's really nothing more to say except Fletch, take it home.
Yeah, and we'll do that, and we'll continue, and we're definitely on the road to WrestleMania. We're on the road to Stand and Deliver now, and yeah, our next event, and what we're gonna do is tomorrow night we're gonna do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio on Florio's Tone 25 channel, which is also on YouTube, and we'll be also streaming it live right here on StreamYard.com, and then from there, Wednesday night is Wednesday Night Madness, where we'll do NXT and AEW Dynamite. Thursday is the Super Bowl edition of TXN Sports World. We will be previewing Super Bowl 57, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. We'll break it down, the X's, the O's, and who we believe is going to be hoisting the Lombardi on Sunday, next Sunday night. And then, of course, Cerebral Smack Talk 1 week from Friday, as we'll do that on Friday with SmackDown, AEW, Rampage, and then that's it. So for Michael Bullock, for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher, saying so long, everybody, and we will see you guys tomorrow night.